All right, so in part of our work with working on the left anterior internal compensation pattern, we're talking about some of this with our postural stuff, right? What we know is that we have the hip setting over to the right a little bit. The right hip is tilted back. The left hip is turned in, so that's that left anterior pattern, right? So when that happens, we usually have a really short flow of actual recruitment and energy of that left hamstring and glute, especially in the stance phase to push off pattern of gait, okay? Now with that, we have a little bit of excess innervation of that left side oblique, and so we breathe into that left rib cage more so than the right, and then we're also biased by having more rotation one way or the other. So the 90-90 pullback is kind of the foundational movement to recruit the hip set structure, where we're gonna work on heel basing the left heel to create that stance phase, that impact component of gait cycle for the brain, so it can register to recruit the hamstring and the glute. We want to squeeze in on the inner thigh, the adductor, to produce stability for that left femur sitting into the hip socket. And then we want to recruit a breathing pattern to facilitate bypassing the reflex of that left side bias of that breathing, okay? So the 90-90 pullback, I want to use a wall, and I'm going to lay on my back. And what you will need is like some kind of stability ball, a small one, but in this case I have a soft kind of foam roller that I can kind of compress, and it gives me that same energy of squeezing in, all right? So I want to get my knees and my hips at 90 degrees approximately. Now to make sure I'm not into like an extended back, I might tuck that knee up a little bit higher, get that lower back pressed down into the floor, and then put the heels into the floor, or to the wall right here, all right? From this position, now I want to create a bias against my otherwise constant bias, okay? So I want to rotate this right shoulder back so it's relaxed. I want to take my left hand, reach towards the wall. Recruitment on my hip, I got to think about pulling my heel into the wall, but pulling down towards the floor. That turns on this hamstring and glute, but watching out that knee cannot drift out to the outside abduction. I got to keep it squeezing in. That's why the block is there. Okay, we're going to work in our breathing. So as I have the tension set, I'm going to exhale and get that diaphragm to engage with the TVA, the transverse abdominal muscle. All right, I'm going to exhale everything I can. Pull down, squeeze in. And I'm going to inhale quietly through my nose. And that's going to open up breath into the upper chambers of the top of the rib cage in the back. And then for 6 seconds, as I squeeze and hold, exhale through the mouth. And I'm compressing the breath, compressing those ribs all the way down, supporting that, pull back, in through the nose. And with enough isometric force on that glute and hamstring, you'll get the hip to rise. You're going to get the squeeze on, and we're going to work on increasing our expiratory pressure. And I'm going to work that cycle of 6 seconds out, hold down, inhale through your nose for 2 minutes. So it's an isometric lock-in on this left side. I've got that left side oblique bias. I'm relaxing my right arm, and I'm working in my breath cycle, okay? So those are those cues we need to focus in on.
All right, thank you.